everyone. So, guess what I got today? Ta-da! These are the new Ohuhu pastel brush markers. So, they have a 120 brush set of alcohol markers, and they just released this 48 set, I think last Thursday. Yeah, I think it was Thursday. I stayed up late to order it. That's all I remember. I wasn't even like afraid they would sell out. I just wanted to make sure I ordered it. I don't know. I have an obsession. If it's there, I need to buy it. But the pastels are very exciting because none of these are in the 200 set or the 120 brush set. So if you're not familiar with Ohuhus, they're kind of, well, some call them the, budget option versus Copic. And they pretty much are. They are a really good marker. They blend great. There's tons of videos out there, doing reviews on how awesome they are. So I'm not reviewing them. I'm just showing you the pastels. But they have different kinds. So their old school brand, as I call it, had a bullet nib and a chisel nib. And those came in 200 colors. I own that set, and it's pretty big and beefy, and they all come in these canvas bags, and they're super sloppy like this. I mean, look, nothing's in order. But then they came out with 120 of those 200 colors in the brush tip. So I bought that because the brush tip is so much easier for blending. I mean, just coloring in general with an alcohol marker, I find the brush tip a lot better. So they'd come out with a 120 set, and when I bought that 120 set, I instantly noticed, one, all those colors you're missing from the 200. I mean, we're talking 80 markers. That's quite a bit. So there was a lot of colors that they left out when they made that 120 set that I will rant about in another video. But one thing, even with that 200 set, was there wasn't a lot of pastel colors. And Copic, with their 358 sketch markers, I think it is now, have pastel colors. So they finally came out with the 48 pastels. Now they were supposed to release their 200 set with the brush, but they haven't done that yet. So instead they came out with this pastel set. And these pastel colors are not in that 200 set, and they're not in the 120 set either. But they did combine them. So now you'll notice they have a 168 set. That is the original 120 brush plus this 48 brush in pastels. So keep that in mind if you see that. But anyway, so these come with their usual little brochure, and something that was interesting. So you open it up, and this shows you the 48 colors plus colorless blender. This has a very teeny tiny color wheel, showing their neutrals, purples, blah blah, And then they talk about their Ohuhu markers, and something I found very interesting is they have a brush and bullet nib in their water base, which is cool, but they also are now going to have a fine and brush nib in their Honolulu series, which is what these are. They're a chisel and brush, but now they're going to release a fine and brush in this Honolulu series. And I haven't looked for them yet. I haven't seen them on Amazon, but supposedly they're there or coming. So that would be really awesome, because with these brush markers, see, here's the brush, and you always know it's a brush because of this gray band here. I don't really use the chisel much. Even when I'm coloring a large space, I still use the brush. I just like it better. So I never use this. So it would be awesome if they eventually have the 168, that means the 48 pastels and the 120 colors in that fine and brush. I might be tempted to buy that because I bought the 200 set for the bullet nib, and I bought the 120 set for the brush nib. So that's pretty nifty that they're coming out with that. So yeah, this little brochure comes in there, kind of gives you some tips. Here's their facts, and then they also show how it's a reversible brush nib, which is a cool feature a lot of people don't know about Ohuhu. But so say this one end gets like all frayed, you can swap it and just reverse it. And then they have a couple color combos. I honestly think these are the same. Regardless, you can't even read them. The way they're printed, I can't see them, but I'm pretty sure this is the same blending tutorial that's on the 120 package. So in this hot mess of markers, you also get a plastic sheet. It's a vinyl sheet, it's super bendy. You can put it behind something to protect your pages, but it's small, so it's not going to cover a whole space. And then you have your markers. So in like my 120 set, it had like 4 compartments, so I was able to organize them more. But in these smaller sets, it's just like a huge mess. And we will get them in order, sort of. But yeah, so here is the brush nib. And that is what we're going to swatch today and just see how pretty these colors are. And maybe I'll even compare them to the 120 set and see if they really are that different. So I pre-did a color chart in color order based on the color thingy that came with it. I can't talk today. But anyway, we'll swatch them out and see how these colors look and go from there. So color 1, lemon chiffon. Now remember, alcohol markers, when they're wet, can be kind of ugly, and when they dry, they look a lot better. So never judge. Let's see, that's pale. I need buttercup yellow. I'm also curious how close the caps are. So like with Ohuhu, they have the number and the name, which, by the way, if you have the 200 set, you won't have this. Their numbering system was just literally numbers, no color families. So there's no Y, no YG, none of that. And they also don't have the name of the colors on their 200 set. It's only on the brush ones that they started doing that. So on my 200 set is incredibly frustrating. Because I'm like, what color is this? Let's see. But their 200 set is also shaped more like a Copics sketch. It's like oval. Whereas these are round and also have, let's see, once I find my color, deep cream. Also has these little nubs on the plastic so it won't roll off your desk, which is pretty cool. Deep cream. Oh, that's a pretty dark color for cream, huh? It did say deep cream though, so they did warn us. Let's see, carmine red. What's going to take the most time here is finding them. I would have put them in order, but I was just so excited to show them to everyone. Oh my goodness, it's hard when they're way back here. Okay, carmine red, where are you? You would think it would be something red, but it's a YR, and I am not seeing. Well, let's see if we can find the light orange. Oh, here we go. Once these dry, we'll compare the, you know, the cap to the swatch and see how close they are. It's an interesting color. All right, light orange. Oh, that one was easy to find. Big bright lid there. Whoa, that's light orange, huh? It's like highlighter orange. Interesting. All right, mellow peach. Ha. Yeah, like I said, you can semi-organize them in these canvas bags, but that's just basically you put them all back together. In the bigger sets, it's easier just because there's compartments. But even then, they're still a hot mess. I used to have them in separate tubes on my desk, but I replaced that with an ink pad holder. So now I'm back to sorting through a huge bag. Pale cherry. Well, let's see if we can find it. Oh, there it is. All right, pale cherry pink. Sardonyx? At least I hope I said that right. Okay, So I'm super excited about these because the 120 set especially, you kind of felt like you didn't have any light colors to work with or blend around. So it was nice that they came out with this. I really still hope they come out with the 200 set in the brush. That's a pretty coral, like pinkish color. It's called Light Prawn. They're all like so pretty to look at just because they're all pastel colored. Antique Fuchsia. This one's going to be hard to find because it's going to be... Oh, there we go. Yeah, you couldn't get the right gradient. You just didn't have any of those pale colors, so everything with their 120 set was always like super, you know, like vibrant and in your face, which isn't a bad thing, but sometimes you're like, oh, I wish I just had a lighter shade of this color so it wasn't popping off so much. Light hot pink. Thistle. I mean, it is good they send them in a bag. But I almost wish they took like the Copic approach and had them in that plastic case at least so you could, you know, keep them organized and everything has a little spot for it. But these are budget, so it's not like you're gonna get that. That would probably cost them too much money. Let's see. The 120 set though is over $100. I swear I didn't pay that when I bought mine. I could be losing my marbles, but I don't remember it being that high. Right now it's up there, but maybe I did spend that and I didn't even think about it. No matter what, these are way cheaper than Copics. Like, way cheaper. I mean, you get what, 72 markers with Copic for 300-ish, depending on where you shop. Whereas, you know, this 48 set, oh gosh, I don't remember what it was, but I know the 120 set is like 110, or at least it was last time I looked. So, that said, these are not refillable. You cannot buy them open stock either, so like once you're out, you need to find the smallest set that has your color. The manufacturer did say they were going to maybe one day do that, but right now they're focusing on just getting their lines out, I think. Like I said, I had reached out to them a long time ago asking when they were going to release the 200 count in brush, and they told me November, December, and I haven't seen it yet. So, and there was so much marketing with these pastel ones that I don't think the December thing is gonna happen. Frost Blue. Ooh, Robin's Egg Blue. If you're new to my channel, Robin's Egg Blue is my favorite color. It's also known as Tiffany Blue, more popular as Tiffany Blue, but it's really called, you know, those Tiffany boxes, the jeweler. It's called Robin's Egg Blue, and that, by the way, is not Robin's Egg Blue. It's not the real one, at least. Pale Blue. Yeah, that is my favorite color. Love it, love it. Pretty. These blues are pretty. Pale grayish blue. I have to keep double checking because some of these I'm reading upside down. I want to make sure I'm not misreading it. So a good assortment of pinks that they've added, that's for sure. And it looks like a pretty good assortment of blues too. Light blue. Definitely glad they added some of these icier blues because those are missing. Let's see, now we're on to lavender. So I guess we're veering away from our blues now. This is the last one. Only thing is I'm not seeing a ton in the violet. We've got only 3 true violets. And then these are just red violets, which are more, you know, pink, obviously. Oop, as I drop one. Okay, so they do roll off your desk even with those nibs. In all fairness, I did nudge it with my elbow, but still. Alright, pale lemon yellow. It does have a green undertone, but okay, yellowish, greenish. And like I said, once they dry, then we'll compare them. Alcohol markers can really be scary, especially if you're doing skin. Oh man. You'll lay them down and you're like, wow, that's too dark. That looks so wrong. And then when it dries, it's like, oh, never mind. It's fine. Horseradish. Is horseradish green before it's turned into the white paste? You would think I would know this because I did go to culinary school, but find that interesting. Let's see. Lime green. I am not seeing a lime green. Oh, it fell down. I was like, oh man. Here I do a video and I get shorted a marker. Just great. So these shipped quick, but these did not ship through Amazon. They shipped through a third party. And I don't know if that's just because they don't have them in Amazon distribution centers yet. But mine, at least, did not ship through Amazon. So, like, I didn't get the 2-day shipping. Because, like I said, I ordered it, like, that Thursday. And I got them today. But if it wasn't if it was at a distribution center, wow, I can't talk today. It's Monday, okay? You just have to forgive me. If it was at one of those, it would have come by Saturday. But it was shipped FedEx from some third-party seller. So I don't know if they plan to send it to a distribution center, because I know the 120 set was from there. Eggshell white. Alright, now we're on to brick beige. Some of these names are quite interesting. Oh, there it is. And it's 48 plus the color list blender, so technically 49 markers will show up, but the blender is obviously not really a marker. Sand white. And if you didn't know, your colorless blender is more of an eraser than anything else. You can use it to push color back to where you need it. But if you really want to blend with it, you're actually supposed to set it down first and then put your color on top. I didn't know that till just a couple weeks ago, so. And I've been using markers for a little bit now, and I'm like, oh, so that's what that thing is for. I knew about the erasing thing. I figured that out on my own by accident. But the blending, like how it's supposed to be used, I couldn't figure it out because I'm like, this thing says blender, but if I use it on top of my colors, it, you know, takes them away and desaturates and makes them look all funky and streaky half the time. But that's because you have to put it down first. Wish they would have that like written on it for all of us newbies. CG. It's so weird that their neutral gray is a CG. I swear it's NG on the other marker set. I swear the code is NG for neutral gray. Interesting. Okay, so neutral gray 02. I could be wrong. I'll pull out my other swatches, but I swear it was NG. Oh man, these are the hardest ones to go through. Okay, you know what I'll do is I'll just start pulling out these grays as is, and so 040. Here we go. So here's yellow gray. It's kind of like a sandy color, huh? Whoop. Well, hey, look, they can roll. Do you see that? Well, there we go. All right, so this is red gray 12. Ooh, that's kind of a pretty grayish purpley color. Interesting. Neutral gray 02. Here we go. Ooh, that's awesome. That's a very light gray, which they needed oh so much. In my 120 set, I was really struggling sometimes. So that's good. Warm gray 05. color. All right, blue gray 02. That one's awfully close to the pale grayish blue though. So that's kind of interesting. Let's get this colorless blender out of the way. All right, green gray 02. Be interesting to see when these two dry how close they are. Let's see, cool gray 05. I'm glad they added more grays though, because in the 200 set you have a great assortment of grays, but in the 120 set, which are the brushes, you don't. You kind of feel like you're lacking a lot. So I'm glad that they added more. Red gray 03. Interesting. All right, red gray 11. All right, we have them all swatched and all over my desk, but let me get this canvas bag out of the way. So these ones have dried. Let's take a look and see how close these are. So the lemon chiffon is, wow, that is pretty darn close actually. Huh. Let's pull another one and see. This is light orange. It's just a little lighter there. Let's see, what about this one? Pale lilac. That's pretty close too. They're getting better. They're older sets, like the 200, woo, way off, not even close. All right, so what I'll do is take a look at the original chart and compare them. Okay, so the original 120 set. So this is the colors you get with the original 120. Now, there is a skin tone set of 48, and that also has some colors that aren't in this 120. It's very confusing. I don't know why they did that. So just keep that in mind. But you see here in the 120 set how bold and dark all of the colors are. And when I got this, that was my biggest complaint, because I really didn't have any light colors that I could work with. And see here in the grays, some of these work well. Like this, their cool grays are pretty easy to blend. But like their blue grays, I don't know what the heck was going on there. But, you know, even in the yellows, but they had a couple. But reds and pinks and stuff, like their lighter pinks were very bright. And then they had a few that dulled out, but then they came peachy. So you can see that it was missing quite a bit of the lighter tones. So this does help a ton. I mean, look at all those pastels in there. But one thing I wanted to check. Okay, good, those aren't close. First I thought this GY one was going to be close. That one looks pretty close. Just a little bit darker. Yeah, I'm not seeing anything like dramatically the same. See these purples. This 120 set is like really hurting for purples, by the way. When you go to make a blend, you're just like, ugh. But these will help. These will definitely help. So it's overall a pretty good one. And even like in here, you can get more skin tones too. I'm loving this pink though. I know it's an earth tone, but it's pinkish. And it's called Lipstick Natural. So yeah, it does help complement what was in the 120 set. By the way, this is a PDF I bought off of Etsy, but they actually had some repeated numbers and some missing numbers. So I'm not going to put it in the description below because I don't recommend buying it, because I paid for it and it had like typos and missing numbers and duplicates. So yeah. I'm going to make my own swatch chart and combine them all anyway, unless someone else has already done it, because I would love to just print one out and not have to do it. But overall, pretty impressive. I like the color arrangement. I like that they added more greens. You know, there were plenty of greens before, but this just gives you more. And the blues are awesome, because as you can see for the blues, you definitely needed some light ones. And then with the pinks, they do have these lighter ones, but these are way different in shade, so I'm happy there. And overall, I mean, it's a great, addition. And like I said, they have that skin tone set that has a few colors that are not in this or this. So I hope they one day just combine it all, because I wanted to buy that skin tone set, but I would have been doubling up on some markers, and I don't use these as much. So I do love Ohuhu though. They're inexpensive. They're awesome on Hannah Lynn books. I use them a lot for Hannah Lynn stuff. And I'm really happy they came out with this pastel set. So if you have the pastels, let me know what you think, if you played around with them. You could even color a picture with just this set of 48. But if you're new to markers, I would buy this first, because you really need a lot more colors than this. These you can blend together, but you don't have the range. So it would still be fun though to just do a whole picture in all pastels, and I might do that just as something fun for myself when I'm playing around with them. But let me know what you think of them, if you're happy. I am happy they're adding more colors. They're getting closer and closer to Copics 350 something. But overall, I'm pretty happy with these, and I think they'll be a good addition. So, guys, if you have your pastels, go create something super adorable and Easter-like, because that's what I think of when I see this. And then until next time, take care.